Cardano down around 50% from all-time highs not that long ago. I feel like we were just doing videos about Cardano breaking all-time high. And here we are. Many people abandoning ADA, getting rid of ADA. With Cardano down around 50%, if you're an ADA holder, what's the best approach to these markets right now? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. It means a lot to me. Opportunity zone. I mean, that's what I see. What that looks like for you, I'm not sure, but I want to talk about the data. I've been doing these videos for years and years in different markets, bull and bear. And this is what I'm seeing. I want to talk about it. I tweeted earlier. I said I did crypto videos almost every day into the 2018 bear market, all the way to the bottom. I did. It was tough some days. Having an accumulation plan on a daily basis was life-changing. I'm not saying we've entered a bear market, but for me, this is the key. With ADA officially down 50%, a powerful opportunity has begun. This isn't financial advice, everybody. This is my opinion. This is what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but from my experience in crypto, this is just the name of the game, right? I happen to be just very long on Cardano. Cardano happens to be kind of underperforming in just recent months, which is fine. Long term, it's been outperforming. We talked about that in a video compared to how much Bitcoin is up this year versus Cardano and Ethereum. Cardano's up the most this year. So it's taking kind of a bigger consolidation hit, which is fine. So we're going to talk about these charts real quick before we do. And this is, I'm going to talk about the SundaeSwap ISO, but it's pivotal in the fact of everything going on with Cardano, what's getting ready to happen on Cardano, the market sentiment shift that I think is about to happen. SundaeSwap is just a really good illustration, also a project I'm very excited about. You can see it's the coming soon page. If you click enter app, we're not here yet. The ISO is not happening yet, but if you want that airdrop, we are, Crypto Capital Venture, our stake pools are SundaeSwap ISO approved. It's going to be a 5 epic ISO window where they airdrop Sunday tokens. So our pools are approved, and wanted to just do a quick little announcement. We just added CCV4. So two things with that. If you're looking to get into the SundaeSwap ISO, stake with CCV4. CCV pools are approved ISO pools for the SundaeSwap ISO. And then number two, if you're in any of these other pools, CCV in particular, it's just getting up there. I think it's at like 64 million Cardano. It is 65 million Cardano. And we're trying to spread these pools out, right? We don't want to get oversaturated in any of the pools. And with this SundaeSwap ISO, we're one of the approved pools. I want to make sure just to have room as delegators come in. So let's try and spread into CCV4. So if you're in any of these other pools, if you're willing, I'd be very grateful if you can move to CCV4 as we get that up and running. And we try and just, it's like an art, like to try and just keep these level, keep these pools even, if you could say that. So I appreciate your help in that regard. Since CCV4, we just set it up today. It's fairly new. Yoroi, you can delegate there. Daedalus is it can take up to 24 hours. For some of you, it might be working already. Quick little trick I have for you if you have Daedalus is you can go into settings in your wallet, and in settings, go to stake pools, and you'll see this drop down. You'll likely be on IOHK, which is recommended. So be careful with changing the settings. But if you change it to like none, fetch the data directly, and it saves that, and then you change it back to IOHK, recommended, make sure you do that. It should, it take probably a few minutes or whatever, but the CCV4 pool should begin appearing. So that's how you kind of, if it's not there right now, that's how you kind of force it to update a little quicker. So that's that. Appreciate all your help in that regard. It's probably a good idea to also mention what we're doing with these pools. We recently announced that, moving forward, 50% of CCV rewards, of our rewards here at CCV, are going to go towards the Launchpad Foundation, which is basically something Sarah and I created, which allows us to kind of, it's an idea. It's basically what our passion and our mission is, which is to really help people, to love and serve people. So Place of Hope is on here. WEQNT is on here. And Place of Hope, by the way, we were just at this event. This was, I think, 6 days ago. I said thanks to all of you, and I'm talking to all of you. If you missed this, we were able to sponsor a very special charitable event tonight, which raises money for the children of Place of Hope who have been removed from their homes due to abuse, abandonment, and human trafficking. Thank you, and God bless you all. And you can just see we were there. We were one of the sponsors, and we were able to do that because of all of you. And we have some more big announcements with Place of Hope that I want to make soon. I want to try and get Charles, the CEO, on the channel. He's loving what we're doing. And I just want you all to know, as we're having fun with this, we're growing the pools. We're going to do this ISO. We're scoopers for the SundaeSwap decks. I want you to know we really want to do amazing, good things with what we're building here. So that's that. Let's jump into the charts. Here we are, the opportunity zone. So where to begin here? Now, let's start actually on the weekly. Let's kind of lay the foundation, the groundwork. First things first, I wasn't actually going to even talk about this, but the 50-week moving average being tested here, huge, huge area on this weekly chart. It's just important to note, we haven't broken really below, we were barely above it, but we haven't broken below it since February 2020 into that March dip. And that March dip is relevant data on the screen because that's an oversold environment. And we're going to look at this on the daily as well, but here's the weekly oversold on the stock RSI. And then it leads to the second oversold on the stock RSI, which is post Shelley. And then that leads to another oversold on the stock RSI that was post Mary hard fork. And now we're in an oversold on the stock RSI, which is post Alonzo hard fork, smart contracts. Just this chart alone, I'm just kind of like, oh, what's happening now is actually pretty commonplace for Cardano in its cycles. Could there be more downside? Yes, we're going to talk about it. We want to be prepared for it. But this kind of just, this zoomed out feel, it just gives me a level-headed look at markets. It gives me healthy perspective where I'm not emotionally thinking. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, this is data-driven. I see. There could be more downside. We could be hanging out down here for a while. This could be not as fun as all-time highs all the time. But okay, this has happened before, right? That's first things first. Going over the daily chart, here's some more data. We've talked about it the other day, which is oversold on the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator. Very similar zone that it was at back here in July of 2021 before just actually making its way to all-time high. And even notice, we broke the 200 moving average back then. Not as drastic as it's done right now, that red line, but we actually broke below it back then and then oversold back here, all the way back here in September 2020, and then all the way back here, we just looked at it, March 2020. Y'all remember that crypto dip? And speaking of that dip, this is going to line up kind of the opportunity zone that we're about to look at here on the 6-hour chart. So I want to use this as a reference. You know, on this YouTube channel, I'm always talking about best case scenario, worst case scenario. Extreme contrast analysis is what we call it here. My dad made that up. Not just for, you know, it's not, when he made it up, actually, I don't even think he was telling me about investing. He was just talking about life. Extreme contrast analysis. When you're making a decision, think of the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and then think deeply into what you will do next. Manage your risks. And this is what we're looking at. So this is kind of a portrayal of the worst case scenario. At least off the top of my head, this is what I envision. A March scenario. Cardano just keeps dipping right now, right? In a similar fashion as March of 2020. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a worst case scenario. 200-day moving average, 60% separation from that area. If that happened, right now, if this dip continues, Cardano gets 60% overextended. That's like 70-cent Cardano, right? So that's let's use that. Let's use that for a second as we paint the picture of opportunity. This is at least what I do. And let's dig into the charts now. And just for reference, this is me back in September 2020, over 2 months ago, talking about a target to the downside of like the probably 130. I mean, this target out of this descending triangle, probably right around $1.30 or so. So a $1.30 area. And I want to just, this isn't for me to say, hey, everybody, I was right, but I want to throw this out there. This is exactly my reason for technical analysis. To be prepared, and look how long it took us, over 2 months, to even break the lower trend line of this descending triangle that was just starting to form. It took that long. But the whole purpose of my technical analysis is to be prepared for every scenario. And this was one of them, the $1.30. So we've been talking about this move for a while. We've been patiently waiting, and that's the purpose of technical analysis. It's not to predict, It's to prepare. And here we are. Now that we've prepared, we've gotten the break below the lower trend line. I mean, I was doing that video all the way back here in September 2020 or September 20th, sorry, somewhere back here. Look how long it took before, boom, the trend line actually really broke. It was all the way here in November. And it broke, it got retested right here, and it continued to the downside. And our $1.40 to $1.30 range target in play, and it is almost there, right? And this is kind of just a really big piece of the opportunity zone. I think I should probably put opportunity zone maybe down in that target range. For many of you, you've already started accumulating. It's already happened. So we can kind of pull it back up here if you like, whatever. But notice, I also have down to the 70-cent range because that's that worst case scenario type of deal where Cardano's overextended, similar as March 2020. And Cardano's already like oversold here on this RSI. Will it continue for that type of separation? I don't think it will, but let's just say it could, right? And there are a lot of people out there that probably would be extremely grateful for Cardano under $1. They'd be buying probably pretty heavily, right? And for me, same here. Now, how I approach this opportunity zone is something I wanted to discuss. So it's in stages for me, right? And I'm still thinking about it a little bit. But if we hit this target down here, the $1.30 to $1.40, the descending triangle target, if we hit that target, that's kind of it's definitely a pretty heavy buy zone because there's a really good chance Cardano hits the target and gets a reversal, especially if crypto markets continue in this bull market. There's still such a strong case for that to happen. So this is kind of that first area of buying, and maybe Cardano capitulates a little bit below it, comes back up, but essentially that target being hit is a really big buy trigger, I would say, for me. And then beyond that, second buy zone, well, we have a $1.20 target out of this new pattern we've been talking about, the falling wedge, which is like kind of integrated in there with the descending triangle, but a $1.20 target begins the next buy area. Maybe some capitulation down to the dollar range after hitting that target. That's like a buy zone number 2. And then for me, anything below that, anything below $1 is kind of buy zone number 3. Whether it goes to 90 cents, whether it's to like 70 cents, hey, maybe Cardano capitulates into 50 cents. Maybe markets are crashing. Maybe it's so ugly. And ultimately, Cardano from all-time highs just falls, right? And then we're down 77 cents at 77% at 70 cents. Maybe it happens, right? I'm not trying to just throw out all this negativity, but we're entering this 50% dip that Cardano just had right by these targets, confluent with Cardano being oversold on this RSI on the daily, confluent with the stock RSI being oversold, similar areas of oversold, I should say, that we've seen before on Cardano before bounces. There is no telling how much time of opportunity there would be. There is no telling if any of these zones will even be hit. Cardano might get a pullback to the apex of this falling wedge right here. It might happen. Cardano might break back above and into a bull run, right? We know falling wedges, like we just saw on the screen, 74% pullback rate, according to Bolkowski on the patternsite.com. I love his data. There could be a pullback before we even get to these targets. So with all of this data in mind, you have to make your own decisions. I can't tell you what to do, right? And for me, I'm still sitting back. I'm evaluating. I'm trying to get a sense. I'm looking at other cryptos, what the markets are doing, what Bitcoin's doing, what the sentiment's like, what traditional markets are doing. Like, it's a lot, right? But I know that the opportunity zone has really, I mean, Cardano's down 50%. Even if there's an 80% dip into like an ultimate bear market, right? And let's say Cardano goes to 60 cents, 80% dip. Well, 50% of that dip is already over. And that means for me, opportunity zone has begun. So how you approach it is up to you. Again, we're here to prepare, not predict. So take this data for what it's worth, but just know this. I really think the market sentiment for Cardano is going to change very quickly when things like SundaeSwap, the Uniswap of Cardano potentially, just boom, it's here, it's working, it's operating, right? When that happens and other projects start doing that, and you know the Plutus application backend is built and done and working, and developers are able to interact with smart contracts like never before, I'm just saying something very powerful can happen. And with Cardano being down 50%, make your decisions now. And if you don't like Cardano, you probably shouldn't be watching this video, especially for 15 minutes in. But I appreciate all you out there. ADA holders, not ADA holders, everybody watching, I appreciate you. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.